In the headlines, Federal High Court sacks Dave Umahi as governor over defection. Bandits gunned down 63 vigilantes in Kebbi State. As International Women's Day is commemorated, women advocate for inclusion as President Muhammadu Buhari says women cannot be deprived for too long. On the foreign scene, Ukraine says civilians are being evacuated from besieged Sumy, Irpin. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayub Ehla. Thank you for joining. The details now. Federal High Court sitting in Abuja on Tuesday sacked David Umahi as governor of Ebonyi State and his deputy Eric Igwe following their defection from the People's Democratic Party to the ruling All Progressives Congress. The court, in a judgment that delivered by Justice Inyang Eko, which followed a suit the PDP lodged before the court, held that the votes Governor Umahi secured during the March 9th 2019 governorship election in Ebonyi State belonged to the PDP and the same could not be legally transferred to the APC. According to the court, having defected to the APC, both Umahi and his deputy did not only jettison the PDP but also the votes that belonged to it. The court ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to immediately receive from the PDP names of persons to replace Umahi and his deputy, or in the alternative, conduct a fresh gubernatorial election in Ebonyi State in line with Section 177C of the 1999 Constitution as amended, and further restrained both Umahi and Igwe from further parading themselves as governor or deputy governor of Ebonyi State. Now, the Nigerian government has inaugurated a 7-man committee to renegotiate its 2009 agreement with the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Minister of Education Adamu Adamu, during the inauguration of the committee in the nation's capital, Abuja, tasked members to work with relevant stakeholders towards finalizing the proposed renegotiation agreement, which started in 2017. He also added that the assignment had a 3-month span, after which government will be expecting recommendations to confront the challenges facing the nation's tertiary institutions.
Your nomination to serve the federal government in this capacity is because of your track records. Therefore, I have no reservation that you will conduct this all-important assignment with all the seriousness and the urgency that it deserves. This is more so considering the ongoing industrial action by us and the threats by other similarly unions. Therefore, I wish to specifically appeal to this constituted committee to redouble on its efforts towards concluding the assignment and producing a realistic and workable draft agreement that will take the challenges confronting the university system and position it.
Meanwhile, the Academic Staff Union of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, insists that Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai must respect the rule of law. The union also asked the Senate of the institution to formally withdraw his degree certificate. ASU members carrying placards with different inscriptions say that the actions of the governor are in contravention of the requirements in character and learning deemed worthy of Ahmadu Bello University degree awards, and the union also calls for compensation from the governor.
ASU, NASU, SANU and NAT call on the authority of Ahmadu Bello University to institute another legal action on the government of Kaduna State and demand for compensation on the destruction of the whole of the college, felling of trees, distortion of flora and fauna, and the entire environment. 2, the Senate of Ahmadu Bello University to formally withdraw the degree certificates awarded Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai as his many actions are in contravention of the requirements in character and learning deemed worthy of Ahmadu Bello University Degree Award. You may recall that on the 13th January 2022, our union, that is ASU, issued a press release where we cautioned the governor of Kaduna State to desist from this carelessness and unlawful takeover of the property belonging to ABU Zaria. However, instead of abiding by the caution, he went ahead to destroy the wall of the college and several trees. It is instructive to note that the trees destroyed are more than 50 years old, using bulldozers of Kaduna State Urban Development Authority Kasubda under the watch of over 100 well-armed security personnel. Despite a subsisting interim court order restraining the governor and state attorney general, their servants, agents, and privates from further entering and trespassing on the said land, which was duly served on them by the court. The court order was granted on the 18th of January 2022 by Justice K. Dabo of the Federal High Court, Zaria. In the face of the restraining injunction granted against the governor of Kaduna State and his agents, Malam Nasir El-Rufai and his attorney general, in utter disregard to this court order, directed Kasubda to trespass and further cause devastation on the land.
Over now to security matters. Bandits have killed 63 vigilantes, otherwise known as Ensake, in Kebbi State. According to BBC, the tragic incident occurred after the local guards launched an onslaught against the bandits in Zuru Emirate in the wee hours of Monday. The bandits were reportedly said to have hidden on trees along the road leading to their dens and opened fire after the vigilantes were trapped in the middle of their attackers. The Ensake hail from various towns and villages of the Emirate. Meanwhile, the authorities are yet to react on the tragic incident. In a similar development, St. John's Catholic Church, located in Kundenda area of Kaduna South local government area of Kaduna State, has been attacked by bandits in the early hours of Tuesday. The bandits abducted the parish priest, Reverend Father Joseph Akete, during the attack, while his security guard, identified as Luca, was killed. Reports say that the incident sent many residents into confusion as they heard sounds of gunshots. According to reports, a woman and her 2 children were also abducted together with the priest. Now, there is heavy presence of security operatives at the Gani Fayemi Park in Ojota, Lagos, where some youths proposed to protest for slaying Bamise Ayanwole. The Lagos State Police Command on Monday confirmed the death of Bamise, who went missing after boarding a bus rapid transport service on February 26th. Following the outrage that trailed Bamise's alleged gruesome murder, some youths vowed to embark on a protest on Tuesday. In a flyer shared on Twitter, the youths vowed to storm the secretariat in Alausa Ikeja and all BRT terminals in Lagos State. Our President Muhammadu Buhari says women can no longer be deprived for too long as they consistently prove that they can hold their own on all fronts and in all fields. The president stated this on Tuesday while extolling Nigerian women on the occasion of International Women's Day in a statement issued by his spokesman, Femi Adesina. The president said women are not where they should be yet in different spheres of endeavor, adding that the celebration under the hashtag Break the Bias, the theme Gender Equality Today for a Sustainable Tomorrow, is an opportunity to reflect on the vital roles women played in society, homes, governance, and the professions, and in all walks of life. He commended the contributions of women to the current administration as ministers, special advisors, senior special assistants, executive directors, executive secretaries, and many others, saying that they were pulling their weight and making it impossible for anyone to downplay their essence. Now, the 100 Women Lobby Group on Tuesday laid siege at the National Assembly complex in protest gender discrimination by the federal lawmakers over the passage of some bills. This is in honor of the International Women's Day, with the group spearheaded by Felicia Onibon, the group's president. According to Onibong, the celebration is an opportunity for Nigerian women to lend their voices to the development of the country, and it is a shame for the lawmakers to discriminate against women.
We are not here to take pictures. We are here to express our deep sense of pain. We are here to express our disappointments. We are here to register that we are not satisfied with the quality of leaders that we elected to represent us. People that are speaking against their own selves. Because any man that speaks against a woman, he is speaking against himself. It is unfortunate that in the 21st century that we are in today, a so-called giant of Africa, my own Nigeria, the country that I'm so proud of, that we have people that we stick our neck to elect them to represent us, to speak for us, to speak for 50% of the population of Nigeria, and they decided to say we do not count. Sisters, women, the time for us to rise against this evil is now. We must rise. It is a clarion call. It is not time to take tea. It is not another time to allow any man or woman, any man that does not believe in the cause of the development of Nigeria to take the center stage. The time is now. We need an inclusive Nigeria. We need an equitable Nigeria. We need a country where the voice of the girl matters, where the voice of that young boy matters.
Now, in a similar vein, to celebrate this year's International Women's Day, the Center for Transparency and Advocacy has advocated for the inclusion of women in Nigeria's decision-making process. The executive director of the non-governmental organization, Faith Nwadishi, highlighted her stand on Trust TV's morning show, Daybreak.
That some of these stereotypes come from our background and from our culture. It also stems from the fact that for a very long time, women have been seen to be the weaker sex. But I keep saying that when you say a woman is a weaker sex, it does not mean that she does not have the capacity to take on the hard things in society. The fact that a woman was created to be a helpmate to a man means that a woman is created of a more superior material. That's my argument from my point of view, from being a civil engineer. Because if you have a defect in a building or in any structure and you want to work on that structure, what you do is that you look for a material of a higher tensile strength to be able to bear that other defective structure. If you take a structure or a material that is of a lower tensile strength to support that structure, the original structure will collapse and destroy the help that it's getting. And so that's the way I want us to think about it. If we have men thinking about it that way, to say this is a support for what you're doing, bringing all of that, sitting on the table, we won't have all of these issues. So for me, the strategy is let's start training our boy child to understand that there is a space for everybody on the table, depending on the capacities that you have and the information that you have, to make it a collective, to make it a whole. Because if you continue to sit down and make laws for everybody in the society, leaving out certain persons in the society, implementation becomes a problem.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break. Royal praise singers gone broke. Details shortly.
I am a woman.
I need a voice.
A voice to change the world.
Making it a better place. Stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up. Stand up. Stand up.
To secure the future, stand up.
As we celebrate this year's International Women's Day,
we demand gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow.
Thanks for staying. This is Trust News Update. And let's have another look at the top stories again. Federal High Court sitting in Abuja on Tuesday sacked David Umahi as governor of Ebonyi State and his deputy, Eric Igwe, following their defection from the PDP to the ruling All Progressives Congress. Plus, bandits have killed 63 vigilantes, otherwise known as Yansake, in Kebbi State. And on health matters, Nigeria Center for Disease Control says 2 cases were recorded in the country on Monday. Data from the NCDC showed that 7 persons were discharged after they recovered from COVID-19 infections. Meanwhile, for the 17th day in a row, no death was recorded. With the new cases, Nigeria now has a recorded cases of 254,659 infections, 249,206 recoveries, and then 3,142 fatalities. Now, for generations, parlors, trumpeters, drummers, and praise singers have been adding color and glamour to traditional institutions. They also entertain royals and visitors to the palaces. In northern Nigeria, however, there are fears that the practice will come to extinction, with some trumpeters and drummers left neglected by traditional institutions. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail has a chance meeting a trumpeter in Gombe and speaks on the reality.
The job of these trumpeters and drummers is to entertain royal figures, the emir and his cabinet, as well as the palace guests. They often perform in various events, but most of them are not placed on any salary or allowance. They perform and get some token at the scene. Salisu Adamu is the leader of this group. He has been in the job since he was a teenager.
Mun tashi mun dan fara karatu yanayi na rayuwa wani lokaci ana dan samun rashin.
We were schooling, but because of lack of support, I decided to learn this job so that I can fund my education. Although the business is engulfed with multiple challenges, Salisu admitted that he has made some progress. We thank Allah. I was not like this before. We entertained the emirs, from one emir to the other, or even at one palace. We made some progress in life, though we aren't rich. Salisu is worried that the traditional trumpeters and drummers in northern Nigeria will one day come to extinction because of the way they are being treated.
Gaskiya tana fuskantar kalubale. Kalubalen da take fuskanta shine sarakunan sun yi sakaka da mu. Bi ma'ana suna dan sake mu kaman ba mu dame su ba su damu da mu ba hakan nan.
Yes, there is threat to this work. The emirs are not doing enough to take care of our needs. And at the end, our children can't do the job. One day, nobody will do the job, because we were not well catered for. Although they are doing their best, we have a lot of challenges. They should do the needful and take care of us. Maybe that will inspire others to do the work and vice versa. The hope of these drummers and trumpeters is for the traditional institutions in northern Nigeria to take a step toward improving their plight to preserve the tradition. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Moving on now, fuel scarcity still lingers in Nasarawa State and negatively affecting sources of livelihood of many residents of the state. Abubakar Abdullahi, who monitors distribution and sales of the product, reports that long fuel queues remain in almost all filling stations. The report.
Tolls on the residents of the state The fuel scarcity is as a result of most of the filling stations close down their services for lack of supply or due to deliberate hoardings of the petroleum product, while residents of the state are feeling the brunt of the actions of some of the fuel dealers. In trying to buy the fuel, some commuters have to pass a night on the queue, while others, who came to the stations early in the morning, made effort to have their way into the filling station through any of the available entries. Even in the few filling stations selling the product, it is long queue of vehicles that are taking hours before either getting the product at a price above government-approved amount, and some spend hours without getting the product, ending up leaving the stations unhappy. This woman, who initially told Trust TV off camera that she was traveling to a far distance and has been on the queue for several hours but yet to get the product, said the time she wasted on the queue waiting has affected her business plan trip. The woman, when asked to be recorded, said because of the condition she found herself, she wouldn't want to be recorded talking, but call on government to take measures that will bring an end to the scarcity. In some of the stations where the product are sold, people were seen struggling to get the product either in their jerrycans or vehicles. For those who could not afford to bear the suffering of getting the fuel in filling stations, find their ways to black marketers, whom also their numbers reduces on the streets. These people are among those Trust TV camera captured trying to get the fuel in the black market.
The thing is not easy with us because of the fuel scarcity and also the price is too high. It's not easy for many of us now to afford to buy fuel. Almost all the fuel station is locked, and that's not how we will get the fuel. If not all these black marketers that normally help. And like even where I bought now, others are selling even 500, but the place I am now, they are selling their own 350. I'm appealing to government to help the masses. At least let them talk, so that the price will come down. So the masses will enjoy the benefit of everything. We are suffering and it's not good.
Government should look into the matter. They are our leaders and they should be responsible. They also ensure that they find a solution to the problem of fuel scarcity. There is poverty, hunger, and now people have to deal with fuel scarcity.
One of the black marketers also spoke.
I pay to get the fuel. They sell to us at 300 naira per litre. Even at 300, those that put the fuel in jerrycans also demand for something, so I sell at 350.
Attempt to hear from any of the fuel stations managers were not successful. Even one of them, who initially agreed to speak with Trust TV crew, later declined for a reason best known to him. Investigations revealed that the product, if found, prices per litre are ranges from 270 naira to 300 naira in filling stations and 350 naira to 700 naira in black market, depending on the locations. Abubakar Abdullahi, Trust TV News, Live.
Now, price of automotive gas, also known as diesel, has hit 625 naira per litre in some fuel stations. The new development is 4% higher than the 540 naira per litre it sold last week, and about a 30% increase in the 2 weeks. Reports say that the ex-depot price crossed 500 naira per litre, causing fuel stations to adjust their pump prices to current realities. Right now, on the foreign scene, Ukraine has confirmed the first batch of civilians are being evacuated after Russia opened humanitarian corridors to evacuate civilians from the capital, Kyiv. as well as Chevriv, Sumy, Kharkiv, and Mariupol. Russia's UN envoy had announced new ceasefire for Tuesday, saying that Ukrainians can choose where they want to be evacuated to. Now, Nebenzia, announced on the United Nations Security Council on Monday, comes after Ukraine rejected an earlier Russian plan that proposed evacuation routes mostly to Russia and its ally Belarus. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky earlier accused Russia of reneging on previous escape route agreements and trying to stop people by planting explosives on the roads. With that, we've come to the end of News Update. Connect with us via our social media platforms and also subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch us live. I am Ayub Ilya. Thank you for watching.